Alright, trying this again. Alright, showing up as excellent. Is it still excellent? Welcome all. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty. Had to start over again. Hello, if anybody's here. Sorry, I've been working through some technical difficulties again. I'm hoping we are good now. Alright, now it's showing good. So, please let me know. Looks better so far. I think I had to stop and restart it. I think there was something stuck. So thank you all for coming back. Sorry about that. What a pain. Let's just say that was a pain in the butt. So let's see if we can keep it excellent here. So let's give a couple more minutes for people to come back. I appreciate you. Lydia, Heathen Dancer. Thank you for coming back right away. Appreciate it. Let me know if it changes. It says excellent, but I'm not going to buy it until it lasts. So, welcome. Like I said, if you want to win a copy of Leia of the Long Lasting, please let me know in the chat. Lydia, you should have gotten a copy from Wobble earlier this week, because I want to thank you for coming in to the last stream that wasn't very good. So he should have emailed you a link to a copy of that. But if anybody else wants to win a copy, please let me know. I'm giving away 3 copies today. And as always, my name's Rich. Welcome to the Laughing Tavern. Today we are going to put the finishing touches on this bad boy, the Froghemoth. The first 2 parts in this series were done to get the 2 coats done. So today will be washes and dry brushing. Stone Home has a copy. You'll be using it soon. Awesome. Please let me know how it goes and what you liked about it, what you changed, what your players thought. Because somebody had won a copy in Blue Sky and they emailed me and they let me know what the reaction was, and it touched my heart because her players loved her. She's maintained a permanent residence in their material plane right now because they're fighting a cult, an interplanar cult. Sounds awesome. So yeah, as always too, any questions, pop them into the chat. There should be a more interaction with you guys because it should be a little bit less painting. Washes are relatively fast and easy, so we're going to do the washes first. Let it dry for 10-15 minutes, and then we should be able to hit the dry brushing. Always here, you can't get rid of me. I'm the monsters for your nightmares. Thank you, Lydia. And no, my monster's got 50 years of practice, so. But I do appreciate everybody being here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, washes are basically liquidy paint. They are designed, sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how cameras work reversed. They're basically liquidy paint that fill in the divots and the gaps in the depth. It adds depth to the mini. If you hit just the ridges or just the little, like right through here, it'll bring those ridges out. If you hit the whole mini, it'll darken the whole thing, which is what I like to do, especially for creatures that should be dirty, like a frog that sits in water all day in mud. It shouldn't exactly be squeaky clean like it is, right? So what I'm going to do is start with the green, the dark green and the light green first, because that will take the longest to dry because it is the biggest area. So when applying washes, I have a specific brush. It's kind of frazzled because I'm just trying to get a little bit of the liquid on here so I can fill the depth, so I can fill in the depth. So let's see, I want to make the dark green dark. So I have a couple greens I can go with. I have a green tone. Sorry, still trying to figure this out. Okay, this way. I have a military shader and a green tone. Military shader is a little bit darker. You can see there. I also have dark tone and light tone. But I think I'm going to go with the darker military shader for the dark green areas of the mini. So, as I said, it's liquidy in comparison to the paint. The paint comes out thick, but as you can see here, this is liquidy. Now, you can make your own by adding a lot of water to the color, of course, but Army Painter's great. They have these shaders and washes that are really good. If you're new, throw your name in the chat. If you want to be entered to win a copy of NPC I created, let me know in the chat. Please, don't just watch, chat along with everybody. So I grab just a little bit of liquid here, and let me get the lineup right. See how it goes on? Very liquidy, but it fills in those ridges. And you can let it settle, or you can try to thin it out. So I like to let it settle in the depth, because it will really make those ridges pop. You can probably already see how it just instantly brought depth to this mini. I like to do, like I said, you can do it a couple different ways. You can sit here and you can grab some liquid, okay, and you can just go right in that depth right there, which is great, but I like to hit everything. Let it pool in the deeper spots so that you really get those colors popping, those shadows, I mean, popping from the depth, like right along here. Oh, again, not showing you guys. So like in these depths here, I want to really make sure I get that filled with this dark green. And you can already see that this is starting to pull out some bumps and ridges that we did not know were there with just the light green paint. Like I said, I'm doing this darker green first so that it has time to dry, so we can do the dry brushing, which brings out highlights. So what I like to do is hit everything I can with this paint. So as you can see, it's already brought out the highlights. It's already added depth to this mini. Did not quite have enough here. It's a lot of green on this mini. As you can see, this is just making this mini nice, and it's bringing out the depth. It's giving it a darker color. See all these gaps? The ridges are really starting to pop now. The hard part about a mini like this is it does get messy because there's no real good spot to hold it. Oops. I've got to remember to keep it in the window so you guys can see. And I did take a picture of the mini before we started this process, so I can show you the difference without the wash and with the wash. Now, the more you let settle in one spot, the darker that spot will be. So if you notice, I keep going over a couple spots. I'm trying to thin out some spots and darken others. And the best thing is you can just pull the paint from the wash, from other spots and carry it down. Do this leg very well. So yeah, you just keep going over, thinning it out where you want it thinner, adding extra depth where you want to really, like this leg crease right here. I really want to make sure that I get some settled into that leg, into the fold of the skin there. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Thank you again for being patient at the start of the stream when it was going sideways on me again. Hopefully now, and please let me know if the stream starts to go wonky again. Let me know how it is right now. If it's good, I'm assuming it's good. So that's it. That's it for the dark green. Oh. For the wash, for the dark green. I think I've hit a couple spots pretty well. So, as you can tell, it filled in really well. And right now it has that really sleek, wet look to it too, which it should keep some of that. Oops, missed some here on this leg, on the inside of this leg, the inside of this leg. Now I'm just going through, giving it a once over, making sure all good. All right, thank you, Lydia. So that's what it's looking like. So you can see those wrinkles under the eyes have really popped now. Like I said, the ridges and bumps along the back of the eye ridges there really came out really well. Now that's going to dry for a couple minutes. While that dries, I need to decide what color to hit the light green with. I want to get just a little bit of, I think what I may do for that one, I don't want to darken it with the dark green. There is a color called where is it? Red tone. Oh, flesh wash. Here we go. It's called flesh wash that I like to use on teeth or faces because it has a tanning effect to it. So it tones down the color that would be in a, say, a face, or in if you're painting like a barbarian without any armor on. So today, the reason why I'm giving away 3 copies of Later Long Lasting, so please once again let me know in the chat if you want a copy or try to win a copy. The reason why I'm giving away 3 copies today is 3 years ago today we took Leia to the vet because she was losing weight and she wasn't eating hard dry food, so we thought it was just a something wrong with the tooth, an abscess tooth, that kind of thing. Well, we took her to an emergency vet. It was an abscess tooth, but they also did an ultrasound and her body was riddled with cancer. So, of course, we did what every pet owner has to do eventually, is we made the decision to say goodbye. That was a rough day. Still rough, as you can tell. It hits me kind of hard. Hello, Stone Homie. Welcome. We like I was saying, it hits me kind of rough, but we had gone out to dinner, and I had done up a quick mini on Hero Forge the next day for Leia. It's the mini you've seen in the cover, if you've seen the PDFs I post. And by the time we got home, yes they are. By the time we got home from dinner, one of my friends, she does all the logos for the channel. She created that artwork that you've seen on the PDFs of Leia. It was amazing, and it took me a couple of years now. It took me, just under 3 years to actually put her story down on paper for how I use her in my game, and I want the world to use her. So I'm giving away 3 copies here, giving away 3 copies on Blue Sky, 3 copies on Facebook. I want people to use her and let me know how they use her. So with this sad story done, I made it through without crying. Like I said, if you want a chance to win, hello everybody, just let me know in the chat if you wanna be entered to win, and I'll hit a prize wheel a couple of times during this stream, because we'll have some time as I wait for some of the wash to dry. If you just joined us, we had a late start, again due to technical difficulties, but now it's perfect. It's running great, I believe. I don't think there's any chop at all. I hope the audio is good too. Let me know in the chat. And hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So we already did the dark wash on the main body of the Froghemoth. As you can tell, the ridges are really starting to pop. Now I'm going to do a flesh wash for the teeth, the eyes, and the light green pieces. So, sounds great too. Excellent. Thank you, Stone Homie. And the light green of the underbelly and all of the throat and tendrils. So the flesh wash is a little bit of a milder darkening compared to the other washes. So what I'm going to do is start it down here and see. It gives a little bit more of a brown feel to it. So for in this case, I normally wouldn't do this for a bright green section of something. I'd use a light green. But the Froghemoth isn't going to be sitting in the bathtub. It's going to be sitting in the dirt. It's going to be sitting in the mud. So I want to just darken this up a little bit so that it's not clean. And as before, I'm going to make sure I really put this on heavy in the spots where there are bigger indentations. I want to really bring out those indentations. Let the liquid do its thing. So if you let it sit for a second and then go back over it, you tend to just pull out the surface and you leave the deeper crevices. So now it's not that bright green. Now it's got a little bit of a darker shade to it. And you can always, if it's too thick, you can take a little bit of water to it and it will make it disappear. Or you can take a dry brush and go through with a dry brush and it will suck up some of that color. Say how it's, if you get your brush dry, it will pull up the surface, leaving the deeper crevices. Oop, pulled out a little bit too much from right here. There we go. So as always, please ask questions. D&D, books, movies, video game, old school video games, old school movies, whiskeys, beer, whatever floats your boat. I'll talk about anything. Now the undersides of these tendrils really don't have any depth. I love using the flesh wash to add, or any of the washes to add just an effect that makes it look dirty, that makes it look just a little bit better. It's not bright green. Nothing is, everything's got a little bit of dirt to it. Hello, Dancer, Lydia's Heathen, Stone Homie, Stone Home Games, everybody. Thank you all, as always, for coming in. Spending some time with me this afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well today. I've got a pot roast in a crock pot. Thank you, Dancer. I've got a roast in a crock pot upstairs for supper tonight. I really got to figure out a better setup for you guys so you can see what I'm doing, but I can be a little bit more comfortable than trying to lean forward here. All right, I think that's about it for the light green for the tendrils. Let's do the eyes really quick. See how now it's dulling up those bright green eyes. It's giving the eyes just a little bit of depth. Now you can really see the orbital socket. The camera did not want to change angles on me today, so I'm having to deal with this. Just full of technical difficulties. So now the last little bit for here would be the teeth. So now I'm taking those nice white teeth and just making them nasty looking. And this is just a little bit of flesh wash. It's amazing what a little bit of flesh wash will do to nice bright white teeth. You've never encountered a Froghemoth in D&D before. Well, they can be rough, especially on low-level parties. I believe they're CR5, but if they hit you with their tendril, they automatically grapple and swallow you. So one with some bullywugs, for example, are perfect combination, and it can cause issues for a party. I used it once in my campaign here, and it swallowed the Froghemoth. I swallowed the Leonin monk a couple of times. Now he got out and he was safe, but it added just extra levels. So now, as you can see, those teeth now, instead of being bright white, now they're the yellow that you would expect a creature of the swamp or wherever, it's not going to be brushing his teeth. It should not have pearly white teeth, right? Now there's one more wash we need to do. And that is going to be the red wash for the mouth and the tongue. Now, for this one, I'm just going to use a red tone because I want to keep it red. There is a basic red tone from Army Painter. I love the Army Painter washes. Let's see. Don't need a lot of this. So now I'm going to hit. So let me get this bristle straight here. That was not the right one. I just put it back into the flesh wash. So hello. Please, if anybody already has a copy of Leia, please let me know so I know not to include you in the giveaways today. And Stone Homie, I always get you two confused, Drew and Chuck. I forget who's who. So, all right, let's try this again with the red wash. All right, so for the red wash, I'm just going to go right into the mouth. I want to make sure that the back of the mouth gets a significant amount because I want that to look almost like a hole. I really want that to pool back there. Hit right behind the teeth. And if you get any of the red wash on the teeth, it'll just look like dried blood. You got your copy. We are basically the same. We just live in different parts of the country, right? I just forget who's who in terms of usernames. So it's really going to go well on the tendril at the teeth here on the end of the tongue. So you fill that in. It's really going to give it some depth. So you see now that tongue now has got some interesting depth to it with that. Okay, there we go. Now I'm figuring out the camera. You can see the split in the middle of the tongue. Now I'm going to take a little bit and hit the gum line. Like I said, and this is the reason why I did a flesh wash first, is any excess of this red wash that gets on the lip or the teeth, it's going to look like dried blood. It's going to just, instead of using the dried blood paint, which I do have, I found the washes work just so much better for it. It just, especially for dried blood. So now, is it going to keep that wet look when it dries? Not really. As you can see, it's already starting to dry in spots. But in areas where there are pools of it, it may just have a deeper color. And I believe most of the wetness will go away, which is sad. But, so that's it for the washes. Seriously, that's it. It took me, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? So doing a wash on a mini, especially if you paint the whole thing like I do. Oh, no, I don't. I have one more left to do. I've got to add, that gives it a what look? Stone Homie. Is there a product? I believe there probably is. I know I do put a varnish over it as the final step, which I'm not going to show because it's just putting some varnish so it can be handled. But sometimes that could give it a wetter look to it. I do have the dark stone that I need to do. the base. So I have something called dark tone. Right. So this is perfect for the stone underneath the mini. I have not watched that interview yet. Was that part of the gameplay that you guys did last night that I have not watched yet? Or the other night? Well, it was Thursday night, right? I have not had a chance to watch it yet. But is the interview as part of that one for the Game Renown? So the problem is he's still wet everywhere. So what I'm going to do is just grab some of this dark tone and just hit the stone up. And you can see right away what it's doing to the stone. It's bringing out the crevices and the cracks so well right off the bat. Just get your brush in there, so because you can fill in the gaps. Yeah, it was the Renown board game. Awesome. I will have to check that out when I get some free time. I may have to watch it in, like I watch everything else in YouTube and stops and starts. Everybody's putting out such great content, it's hard to keep up with everybody. You know, being subscribed to so many great people, and not only the people like you guys all, but all you creators, but all the other creators I follow, like, you know, Dungeon Dudes and Jenny D and all that. And then you throw in having to do my own work. Just like I'm sure you guys are all well behind in subscription watches. So for the Darkstone, I try to leave it as it flows. Right. I try not to clean it up at all. I want those pools, because it really hits the stone really well. So that is it now, truly now, for the washes. As you can see, that wasn't that hard, but what it does for your mini is definitely a step you do not want to skip. It is, it just, you have to do it. It just takes it to the next level. Finishing touches like that are just amazing, and it, you know, a clean painted mini looks great, looks amazing, but one with the washes and what we're going to do here in a little bit, stone looks great. Thank you. With the highlights, it just yes, you do, Stone Homie. Yes, you do know a thing or two about stones. So I don't know if you guys watched the gameplay we did the other night of Horrified Dungeons and Dragons. It does come with Displacer Beast and Beholder minis. But let me show you. So this is a Displacer Beast mini that I painted. It's one of the first ones I painted. So we use this in the game instead. Oh, you watched it? Excellent. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun game, but man, whew, it was tough. This is one of the proudest minis I've done. Looks like fun, Heathen. It is a blast, especially if you know how to play Horrified. It just amps that up. This is the Beholder that I did. It wasn't one of the first minis I did, but it was one of the first ones I learned about washes. And this was a red, and the washes I used turned it a purple. So you can see what just a little bit of depth will add to a mini. Lot to it. It's not really that much actually. Once you get it all set up, it's actually not a lot of pieces. It's just NPCs go over here. You did good work, Rich. Thank you, Dancer. So I want to give this 10-15 minutes to dry, so that we can do the dry brushing, which will hit the highlights, which will hit the top of ridges, which will just make it look like light is hitting pieces of it, but just the raised parts of it. So this was to get the sunken parts. The next is to hit the raised pieces. Just paint very detailed ones. Oh, excellent, Dancer. I painted like car models back in the 80s, but didn't really do anything until 2019. I started painting minis. Mainly just to paint minis that I can use as characters for myself. One of the first ones I painted was a druid that I use in the game, and then all the beasts. I painted my druid NPC, and then direwolf. Cars, trucks, and military vehicles. Yeah, same with me when I was a kid. So who here does not have a copy of Later Long Lasting in this group? Off to the store. Thank you, Stone Homie. Appreciate you stopping by. Who does not have a copy? Because I'm going to give away a copy right now while we wait. I'm not sure who's got the copy. As always, ask me questions. Trying to decide what to paint next, starting next week. What I can do here in a minute is I'll take a look at my mini collection behind me and find something to paint. Heathen does not have one. All right, Heathen. Heathen, you are added in. Let's see. I started with the Froghemoth because it was one of my bigger minis that wasn't a dragon to start with. What I may do is go a little bit smaller. Heathen needs a copy. I'm thinking Heathen might be the one to win this first copy, actually. Dancer, do you have a copy? So, might go a little smaller next. Something with a little bit more detail. The Froghemoth is, it has detailed like ridges and all that, but there's not, it's basically 3 colors. So it's not a... Have you done any dragons? Yes, I have. Dancer does not have a copy. All right, well, Dancer, you're going to be entered in here as well. I have done dragons. I've done 2. I've done a green and a black. The green got broken off of its stand, so I need to fix it. But this is similar to the Froghemoth. You can see. Oh, I have baby dragons. I have a couple of those. You can see you can add depth with the shadows, and very similar color scheme to the to the Froghemoth. Did not realize that, but green is green, right? let me see what I can do about a baby dragon mini. And then I also have a black dragon, which in the right light has a little bit of a blue shine to it because I used a purple wash over the black. If you notice the eyes, there's no pupils. It's too small for me to try to get an eye, to get a pupil in there to where they're not looking cross-eyed. So I leave that alone. You can see the underbelly is a separate color. But you see how all the ridges get pulled out, and then the highlights at just the top of them. Well, thank you. So what we'll do is, let me put these back. I do have, where's my dragons? I have a container, which I do actually, in fact, have a wormling mini, which I can easily paint. Oh, thank you both. I think so. We'll move on to something small next week, which will be this wormling. So he's got some detail. Could be a red wormling. Now, I will be painting for my campaign an ancient red dragon. Its wingspan will be about this wide, and it will be about this tall. My buddy Ian, who plays in my game, 3D printed me it. He's still been working on getting it assembled. Once he gets it assembled, I will paint it. I will not do that when I'm stream, though. There will be parts of it that I want to leave hidden from my players, so that they know they're going to have to face the ancient red dragon. But there are parts of it that I want to keep a surprise. Small dragon would be a good one to do next time. We'll do that then. So, what color should it be? Some dragon eggs. That I don't have. But I do have kobolds that I painted. Red kobolds. There's a group of 5. These were one of the first groupings I did. Assembly line style. So, alright. And a baby hatching from an egg. I don't know what kind of minis they got, but I do need to take a blow dryer to this mini. You can see this wing is kind of folded down. I need to take just a blow dryer to it, and it will reform back up. What color should this dragon wormling be? It could be, I prefer to stick with the chromatic, so your standard. Oh, you gotta run. All right, Dancer. Shoot me an email to Laughing Tavern Productions. And I will get you a copy of Leia. So we'll take you off of this. So Dancer wins the first copy. So Dancer, yes, please hit me up with an email or shoot me a message on Blue Sky or whatever with an email, or I can find you. I can't remember. I think we're all on Blue Sky, or I'll hit you up in the Discord. So yeah, so sometime today before the stream ends, let me know what color you want this dragon wormling to be. Is the stream still good? I just had a little wonkiness happen. And thank you again for stopping by, Dancer. All right. So, the mini feels dry for the most part. I got a fan behind me. Let me just stick it in the fan here. And the reason why you need it dried now, before you do the dry brushing, blue? All right, blue it is. We will paint a blue dragon. I have not done a blue one yet. Got some cool colors for it. I'm thinking we're going to go with this ultramarine blue for the base color, and this void shield blue, which is one of my favorite colors to use, for its belly. I think that'll work. Gotta set these aside so I remember to make sure they're all good after not being used for a couple of years. Green, dark blue with some black. Now I'm thinking with the blue. The black will be the talons. I'll do the tip of I will do the tips of the spines black. Give it a little black to it. The string is still good. Okay. Thank you, Ethan. Lydia, green, dark blue with some black. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to avoid the green because I already have two green. I already have a green dragon. All right, so hello, anybody new? I lose track. Please pop something in the chat. Let us know you're here. If you want to win a copy of Layla Long Lesson, the PDF I created as an NPC after Leia. We lost Leia 3 years ago. She's great. She travels through time and space. She's great at bringing new players to the party, taking a player away who has to leave, or taking some of the party members away to a one-shot if not everybody's at the same table. So, with that said, you can see just that he's got that dirty look now through here. It's a plotchy dirty look. It's not just mud. So you get where some of it's clean, some of it's clean, some of it's not. So now what we're going to do is do the highlights. You can do a white and just make it look like clean lights hitting it, or you can do what I like to do, which is take it one shade lighter than the color you used. So it's very subtle, but it's enough of a difference that you can tell. So for us, I am going to take the elf green was the color we used for the main base of the color. So there's this army green, which is just one shade. She teleports like me in real life. Yes, she does. So this army green is just one shade lighter. You can also go 2 shades lighter, which would be the light green we used earlier, which, because it's a muddy creature, I'm going to go with the army green instead for that. And for the light green, I'm going to just hit that with some white. And the red, I am going to go with what I'll do is for the tongue, I will hit it with this vermilion, I think, maybe, or, hang on a second. No, what I'll do is I'll go with the pure red. Sorry. I'll go with the pure red because this red is what we use, so it should bring out the highlights. So what I have to do is shake the pure red up really well because it hasn't been used in a while. The trick for dry brushing is to get very little on your brush and wipe almost all of it off on a paper towel. You don't want to paint the mini again. What you're trying to do is have just enough to kiss the surfaces, the raised surfaces. So thank you all for tuning in again today. So we got a late start. Oh, and I got to pick a color for the stone, which I will use this ash gray. It's a lighter gray, but it should work well. So let's start with the red. All right. So the key to dry brushing, like I said, is very little on the brush. I like to use a brush that has pretty sturdy bristles to it, okay? And you're going to see why here in a second. So I put just a little tiny bit on the brush, right? Just a little tiny bit. And then you paint it onto a paper towel until you really don't see anything come off on the brush, on the paper towel anymore. And then you just want to hit, you almost don't touch it. All you're doing is hitting the ridges. It's not going to be very noticeable, right? You're not really going to tell right away. But you'll start to see little lighter spots coming up. The tongue is really hard to tell because it's not really a raised surface. The key is to barely touch the mini. So like I want just the mouth here, I want the tongue that's peeking out to have a little bit more lightness to it on the ridge. So you see how it doesn't even look like I'm touching the mini, but I'm just barely hitting it. So you'll really see this start to come to life in the green, which I'm going to do last because I need to be able to hold the mini. And I don't want to smudge it. So that was the red. Let's do the stone really quick. Let me shake this one up. It hasn't been used. Any other questions? If you're new, please say hello in the chat. Can't keep track of who's here or who's not. Thank you all for coming by again. As always, ask me any questions in the chat. Anything about D&D, about board games, whiskey and beer, about anything really. I'll talk and talk and talk. Leave it up to you guys to determine what we talk about during these chats, during these streams. Let's take a look and see how this looks. All right, that actually looks pretty good. So now you're going to really see the stone change here, because the stone actually has good ridges to it. So again, just a little bit on the brush. Keep painting on the paper towel until you don't really see any color. And then just swoop across the top. Swoop across the top. Swoop. You're just trying to hit those edges so that you're not trying to paint them any. You're just trying to get the ridges to pop. so you can see the depth. So see how much of a difference now that makes to the stone. You can see it's got a little bit of whiteness to it. Probably had a little bit too much brushwork there, painted some parts gray, but that's all right. It's stone, so for this, it worked real well. It just added additional coloring to the stone. For the light green, I'm going to use this army green. No, I'm going to use the white I'm going to use white for the light green areas. You have art classes again at school. Awesome, Lydia. Sounds like fun. Said I was never an artist. I could never draw, but I just, even my mini paint, the models I used to paint weren't that good back in the day. I do paint by numbers. That's about it. Until I started doing these, and I found that, I know I'm not the best, but I do my best and learn as I go. So white's the hardest because when you're using white paint for doing a dry brushing, you really want to make sure you have a brush that's barely got any paint on it. It's really hard to tell because it's white paper towels, of course. But let me start someplace inconspicuous and just hit the ridges. There we go. Okay, so I think I still have a little bit too much paint on the brush here. So you just want to hit it like it's, you want to hit it so that the ridges, and go with the direction of the mini. This way you are hitting the ridges fully and not really going into the gaps, into the depths. So I did just a quick little foot across the eyes. I'll do just a little bit on the teeth here. At the tips of the teeth. That way I'm not changing the color of the teeth, but the tips will have that glistening white look to it. And now we're down to the final color. Heathen, hit me up at the email I posted above in the chat. laughingtavernproductions @gmail.com. Here, I'll go ahead and pin that message to the chat here. Send me an email so I can send you a copy, a link to a copy of Lay It Alone Lasting. So this is going to be the Army Green, which is what we initially started to paint this mini as, but it was too green. Don't know if you guys remember that 2 weeks ago, but that is what we were going to paint it. Will do. Thank you so much. No, thank you. All I ask is if you use Leia, email the same email and let me know how she was used and what people thought of her. And there's 21 magic items, all in D&D Beyond. You can get copies of yourself or duplicate and tweak, change as you want. So I really want to make sure that in this case I don't have too much of this green. I don't want to repaint the mini. I just want to hit the ridges. So let's start here and just hitting the ridges. So it's just going to hit any of those bumps. It's just going to bring out more depth of the mini. Be amazed. It's just what this little bit will do. Sorry, I didn't realize I was off camera again. So I'm hitting. Hitting the ridges on these feet. The kneecap. There you go. That is a done mini. The last step will be to put this anti-shine matte varnish on it. What that does is it seals the mini. It allows you to handle the mini during gameplay without removing the paint in time. Especially really good for minis that you intend to use a lot, like kobolds and goblins and bandits. You know, the three big levels 1 through 5. This is all you're facing kind of stuff. Really want to have that varnish on there because it does make a difference. So who else still here? We got Lydia and Heathen. Is anybody else still around? I've got one more copy of Leia to give away. Can you guys see this mini nice now? You can see how the highlights really picked up just a little bit of the eye shine. You get a little bit of the shoulder highlights. As you turn, you can start to see just hints of lighter color. But this is such a different mini. Looks great, thank you. This is such a different mini than what we started. I will post before and after on in Blue Sky. I hope you guys enjoyed this series so far. I hope you learned something. You know, this took me much faster than I thought it would. The washes dried really nicely today. Sometimes I hit the wash and it's still a little wet, so I have to let it sit. But I think this is ready for use in my next campaign. I'll have to figure out a different way to use them. I love Froghemoths. Plus, they look awesome, don't they? So, any other questions? I'm not sure how many people are still here. It says 3, but only 2 people are in chat. So I'd love to give away another copy of Leia Long Lasting today if I can. I know this isn't as long of a mini painting live stream as last week. But that's going to happen with the third parters. I'm hoping going forward to be able to do more in terms of, it's probably going to take 2 parts to do every mini. Hopefully, especially for a smaller mini like next time, it'll be much faster. This one had a lot of green, a lot of base coat. So, well, if that's it, I want to thank you all, as always, for coming. I truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me that even a couple of people want to watch me do something or talk about something. If you haven't already, please check out the rest of the videos on the channel, especially I know we bounce around a lot, but check out the D&D board games and mental health video. It's very important to me. Look forward to more board game videos, and of course D&D videos. Thanks for the stream, Rich. Well, no, thank you, Heathen, for showing up, for coming in and being active in chat. I appreciate it. So be sure you hit me up at that at my email so I can send you a copy of Later Long Lasting. As always, please check out my sponsors, W Only Crits, Dice Envy. The monster has to go back to the shadows. Bye, guys. Yes, bye, Lydia. Check out my sponsors. Links in the description. W Only Crits, they have codes. If you want to purchase anything, please do. Use my codes. As always, be nice to each other, accept each other, and love each other. Thank you all.